One of the biggest struggles with real estate agents that are starting on YouTube is actually starting on YouTube, getting in front of the camera and pressing record. That is one of the most intimidating things that a real estate agent can do. In fact, that in some cases, it's even more intimidating than going to your first listing appointment or explaining the home buying process to your cousin that gave you the shot, your first shot, in getting started in real estate. So we know that when we get started, one of the biggest things that overcomes us is nerves. Maybe we don't know everything, and not maybe, we for sure don't know everything, and we never will. But we start overthinking it, start challenging ourselves or questioning ourselves on if this is something that you should be doing altogether, right? So whether it's your first listing appointment, your first buyer appointment, or your first video, that operates in the same way. So one of the biggest things that keep us from starting on YouTube is not the information. It's not all the videos that you've seen on this channel, or you've typed all the ChatGPT notes like, how do I actually make a video? It's not that. It's rarely the information, because at this point, you have Google, you have ChatGPT, you have Claude, you have other people doing this. So there's resources available to you. It's just that next step and that action. And unfortunately, speaking in front of people or speaking in front of the camera happens to be one of the biggest fears for individuals. So that's what we're going to tackle today. I'm going to give you some very tactical ways to actually get over the fear and how to get comfortable on camera extremely quickly. That's what we're going to look at today. I'm going to give you a very practical way to actually break into video, so it's not overwhelming, so it's not confusing, so there's no more friction in getting started with your YouTube career. So let's get into it. Why do we as agents freeze? It's almost never the camera. It's the imagined audience we picture that's judging. Let me say that again. It's never the camera. It's not the fact that there's a camera in front of you, right? That's not the issue. It's not the fact that you don't know how to speak, right? You have that information. It's the imagined audience on the there's this audience in your head on, what are they going to say? They're going to start judging. There's going to be all these things that, all these millions of people, it's like we imagine millions of people watching our very first video and afraid of feeling dumb or sounding dumb, right? So it's that imagined audience. That's where that fear, that's where the being afraid is coming from. Now, the second thing that oftentimes overcomes is one that you're going to battle through your remainder of your career, and that's the imposter syndrome. Who am I to speak, right? So it's you're questioning yourself. Maybe I just got into real estate and I just got into YouTube because I thought that's the best way to market my business, and you're right, 100% you're right. But now we get into the whole imposter syndrome where we start questioning ourselves. Well, there's somebody better out there for me. There's someone more equipped. There's somebody out there that can actually do better than me in this. Who am I to speak? Well, chances are, yeah, there's probably somebody better, but at the end of the day, that somebody better isn't paying your bills. That somebody better is doing their own thing, right? So we can't compare our starting point to somebody's middle. So we focus on what we can control, and we focus on what we can control is making that first video. So that's another reason that we as agents, we end up freezing and not taking action when we know that there's action to take. And the whole perfectionism trap. So this is I'm waiting until I'm ready. I'm waiting until yada yada. I'm waiting for the perfect conditions. Guess what? The perfect conditions never come. And we know that, and we recognize that. So the quicker that we can get through these reasons, the quicker we can get through these fears, through these limitations, through these just proclivities that we have that are holding our business back, the quicker we're going to get to results that we ultimately want. Right? So these are very, very common. Know that you're not alone. Know that you're not the only person that's going through this. But here's the thing. The individual that looks so ready, that looks so polished, that looks like it's flawless, and they're just making every single video flawless, at the end of the day, they started with video 1, and I guarantee you that their video 1 is not where their video 1000 happens to be. Right, so it's something that we need to keep in mind. I think that we understand, or we need to understand where this fear is coming from to really identify it, put a name on it, label it, and then ultimately overcome it. I think that's going to be valuable for us. Now, the second thing that we want to talk about is really what the mindset reframes that are going to actually work in overcoming this fear of being on camera, and ultimately how we get comfortable on camera as real estate agents for our YouTube, for our TikTok, for our Instagram, for our Facebook. Getting in front of the camera is I don't say the, but is one of the, let's say the, just for the example today, is the highest return on investment that you can make in your real estate business today. Getting in front of the camera, it means you're speaking one to many. Yes, you could eventually speak to millions of people, but it doesn't matter until you record that first video. Until you record that video, there's no chance of getting viral unless the video happens to go first. And that's what we're talking about today. Now, one reframe, one way that make it easier to get on camera is just think of it like you're talking to one person. Don't imagine 10,000 people watching your first video, because chances are that that's not going to happen. Don't envision yourself getting a 10 million viewed video in the first go around, because once again, that's not going to, one, it's not going to happen, but two, it's not going to help you. Right? There's a big difference if you had to speak to one-on-one, having a conversation versus speaking in front of an auditorium of 1,000. We know that in the physical world. So here, the simplest thing that you can do is pretend that you're speaking to a past client, a friend, somebody that you're comfortable with, and speak to that one person. Speak to them through the lens. That's one of the easiest ways that you can do. Now, your first 10 are practice rep. Nobody's really watching them anyway. So keep in mind that the first content that you're producing out there, it's not going to get the light of day. Now, some of them can go viral. We had one of our agents, her first video ended up getting like 1 million views within the first week or so, but that's so rare. That's not going to necessarily happen. I know I'm kind of working against myself here, but understand that the first up at bats, the normal progress, the normal way of doing things is your first videos, they're not going to be great, but rest assured that they're not going to be seen. So give yourself time to build into this, right? So done and posted beats better and unpublished. So done is better than perfect at the end of the day. This finished, a finished video is going to work way better than 10 perfectly polished videos that never see the light of day, right? So 10 false starts, that does you no good, right? So you have all these videos that you never publish because of fear, because of anxiety, because of that stuff. Just remember, done is better than perfect. I'd much rather get one imperfect video out there than 5 perfect videos that have yet to see the light of day, right? So, and we recognize that, we know that it's not anything new that you're getting here today. It's just a reminder that we need, that could be that final piece necessary to actually take action. Now, you're not performing, you're helping. Keep in mind, this is not a performance. This is, I want to convey, as an example with this video, I want to help you. Why? Well, because I get this reservation quite a bit. I've been meaning to get started on YouTube. I've been wanting to get started on YouTube. It's rarely that when people that give me that objection, the agents that we work with or are wanting to work with, it's rare that they actually don't have the information or even have the means to get started with YouTube. It's the knowing that they have to face the camera at the end of the day and press record. That's what holds people back, right? So, but if we can stop thinking about it as a performance, if we can stop thinking about it as an acting career, and reframe it as you're helping somebody, it's going to be much easier to take action, right? So same thing here. I know that this is one of the biggest objections. I know this is one of the biggest fears. So we're addressing it. I would much rather get this information into your hands than just think about, oh man, how can I convey this? What can I do next? What other video can I create? Blah, 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 blah. Right, so I'd much rather take action here and get this information into your hands. As soon as you start reframing this and you consider that you're talking to one person, you know that your first up at bats are going to be practice runs anyway. Not many people are going to watch. Done is better than perfect. And then that you're not performing, you're helping. If you can get that reframe in your mind, you're going to see so much more movement in your video career. Now, some practical tips, and the previous ones were more philosophical. Let's get practical. How are we going to shrink that fear and eradicate it from our life? How are we going to actually get some videos recorded out there? Well, number one, it's okay to film completely alone. Oftentimes you will, right? Do as many takes as you want. There's no audience. So act as one and really operate as one. So right now there's nobody else in the room. I feel a little bit comfortable. And here's the thing. If there was 4, 5, 10 people around me, I might feel a little bit more reservation. I might feel a little bit more hesitation. But right now it's just me and the camera, right? Now, this camera is going to ultimately reach out to a lot of people, but here's the thing: me recording in this controlled environment, me filming alone, allows me to go quicker. It's okay for me to mess up, right? I'm messing up in front of you right now, but I feel much less intimidating doing that than if there was 5 people around me. So that's one practical thing that you can do. Now, talk to the lens as if it was a person, right? So I have actual creators that will tape the photo of somebody that they're very comfortable with and just have it off to the side, have it right below the tripod. They feel like they're talking to a right person. They feel that they're talking to somebody that they're familiar with. Because maybe speaking into the camera, especially if you're a little bit on the older side, no judgment, may not feel as comfortable, may not feel as just a second nature, right? So now we're talking about the teens and the 20s. They grew up with the phone in their hands, so they're used to recording into a camera. But maybe we that are a little bit older, 30, 40, 50, 60, we don't have that. We didn't come up with that upbringing, right? So we still had what were they? Are they camcorders? Or we actually have a cassette. So we had to re-record on the cassette and all that stuff to get some more footage. That's no longer the case. You have an infinite amount of storage at this point, so you can make videos about anything. So here's the trick here: talk to the lens like as if it was a person. So pretend that there's somebody that you're familiar with, that you're comfortable with speaking to that person, and just speak to them. I kind of skipped around here because it's just more second nature to me, but let's continue going down the road here. Let's continue. Let's go to number 5. So, and then I'll come back and hit 2 and 4. It's okay to warm up out loud. Now here, when it comes to talk for a minute before recording so your voice arrives loose, not cold. Turning on the camera and then recording, that's not the best play, right? So now at this point, just to give you an idea about the day, like this is probably my 4th hour on camera right now. So that's why I'm struggling a little bit. Maybe don't overdo it like I'm doing it. But instead of making your final version the first 5 minutes of your time in front of the camera, it's okay to warm up. It's okay to take a couple minutes and do some recording ahead of time so your voice gets accustomed to it, gets looser, so it's not starting from a cold environment. So let's go back up. So bullet points, not a script. It's one of the biggest hacks that helped me produce more content that became watchable, was speaking bullet points. And what that essentially was having a guide here, as you're seeing right here with this presentation, having a guide here and then speaking from the heart, speaking from the top of your just your mind. If I had to do a script would be a little bit more challenging for me, and it is for a lot of creators. So instead of looking for the perfect words to say to put on a script, do bullet points instead, and then speak from those. Speak from the experience that you have. Speak from the knowledge that you contain, as opposed to trying to get every single word right. And then also film for the camera roll first. Lower the stakes. Record now. Decide whether to post later. Have practices, right? One of the things that I'm trying to do and get so much better at. Not trying. I am doing this. One of the things that's helping me be better is whenever I'm driving somewhere, I'm working on storytelling is essentially what I'm doing. And what I do is whenever I'm going somewhere, I just sometimes I do press record, sometimes I just have the camera there and I never press record, but I have the camera there to get into the habit of maybe not seeing myself because I'm driving, but having on that pressure of a recording, if you will. And the reason I do that is because I want to practice storytelling, and the same thing here. I record that not because I ever plan to make those seen by the world, but it's more practice. This is a whole adage of practice makes perfect. Well, that's not true, but practice helps a lot. This is the same thing here. Put in the time, put in the effort, record into your camera roll, and be comfortable with it staying there if it needs to, or eventually when we get a little bit brave enough, then we can unleash it out into the world. You need reps more than anything, which is something we're going to talk about here shortly. Now, delivery fundamentals, the small things that fix most of the awkwardness. 20% more energy than feels natural. What feels over the top to you reads as completely normal on camera. Here's the thing, and this is one that took me a while to figure out as well. Having a subdued energy, having a very mild-mannered approach to video, it tends to not translate as good on video. So it's okay to elevate your pitch. It's okay to elevate your energy. It's okay to provide more energy into the conversation that you have on camera. Why? Well, because the camera does tend to tamp down a lot of that energy. Now, don't do a mistake that I made early on, where when I heard that, what that meant for me was I started yelling at people. And it just really, those were very, very tough videos to watch in hindsight. So don't overdo it like I did, where I just absolutely took it over the top and was operating at 200 above energy, 200% above my normal energy, but increasing your awareness, increasing your energy that you're providing to that video is going to be a really good way to actually sound normal or appear and feel natural at the end of the day. It's okay to slow down. This is something that I ebb and flow. Sometimes I'm a little bit too slow, sometimes a little bit more, a little bit faster, sometimes I'm just right. But at the end of the day, if you're looking to err towards a side that will help you at the end of the day, is slowing down and don't You hear from me quite a bit. Silence is okay, right? Silence provides a level of composure. The way that you say things, the way that you use language, the words that you say, those really, really help when you make a video. Right? So you don't have to come up with all these filler words. You don't have to feel like you have to fill every single sentence with a word. That's often, if you're performing, that's one thing, but if you're helping somebody, that's different, right? So if you have an important thing to say and a very important point to make, you would deliver that in a different way. You would allow that statement, that sentence, whatever you share, to have some room to breathe. And it doesn't involve you just going bup, 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 bup. That's a really good way to kill a conversation. Now, smile at the start. Look at the lens. Look at the camera lens is one of the toughest things for a lot of individuals, especially if you're doing it on the phone, because what appears to be the lens is actually not the lens. So it looks like you're looking off to the side as opposed to looking into the lens. So looking into the lens is essentially the gateway to your viewer, and your viewer is their gateway to you. So looking into the camera and just being approachable, being friendly, just having a smile goes a long way. It transmits so well. Let yourself move. I do a lot of this, right? So I'll do a lot of hands and gestures. If I just delivered all my information like this and I listen to me and like all these deliverables and slow down all this stuff, that's not natural. That's not what you do in your normal normal day-to-day. So why do we bring that energy into the video making, right? It's okay to use your hands. It's okay to enunciate. It's okay to have some movement in your body, because that's normal. That feels normal. It's just going to feel natural. I shouldn't say normal. It just feels natural for you and for the viewer, right? So this is just speak how you're speaking to normal people, and that's it. I keep saying normal, right? Do what feels natural, and this doesn't feel natural. Right, we know that. Record the intro last. This one's pretty fun. The first 5 seconds don't have to be perfect. Reshoot them once you're warm. This primarily happens with podcasts. So whenever we create podcasts, what we do is we have the conversation with the podcast guest first, and then we record the intro. Why? Well, because at that point, we know what was said in the podcast, so we know how to sell the podcast a little bit better. A lot of the mistakes that happen, especially with podcasters, is they do the intro thinking that they're going to cover something, and then they're stuck because the conversation just didn't go the way that they thought it would. So take it from me, having a podcast for quite a while, that whenever you do a podcast, very specifically on a podcast, you do the intro at the end. And with your own videos, you can do that as well, right? So if you have a topic that you're covering on the pros and cons of living in Seattle as an example, it's okay to record your video and then at the end, record your intro. Why? Well, because at that point, you can take that intro that you recorded last and bump it to the front. You have that in editing that's available to you right now. Now, how are we going to start building confidence? How are we going to build this system to where we actually dominate video? Well, batch recording helps out a ton. So whenever you're creating videos, it's okay to shoot multiple videos in one sitting. In fact, it's encouraged. You get more video out there. You get more reps out there into the world. Number 2 is commit to the number first. So pick 10 videos before you let yourself judge any results. So for us here at Creator Agents, our number is 5. So whenever our agents work with us, that are part of our creator agency tribe, I don't provide feedback until video 6. So the first 5 videos, I want to see what comes across. I want to see the tendencies. I want to see what typically happens with the posture, what typically happens with the voice, what typically happens with the scripting. I want to get a better understanding of what the creator looks like. And then on video 6, I start being a little bit more critical and critiquing at that point. Improve one thing per video. Don't try to boil the ocean at the beginning. That is impossible. Focus on one thing per video. If your thing is I just have a tendency to not look at the camera, then make that your next goal for your next video. On your next video, make it a goal that you're gonna look into the camera and you're gonna be very focused on that. If you have another tendency of speaking very quickly in videos, well, make that your next goal for the next video. In my next video, I'm gonna take my time when I speak. Right? So have one thing per video. Don't try to do, well, I have to control my eyes. I have to eliminate all my ums. I have to speak slower. I have to X, Y, and Z. If you try to boil the ocean, that's a really good way to not get things done. But if you focus on one thing of improvement, one item of improvement per video, you're going to be in such good shape. And then, just track the curve, right? So video 1 versus 10 is night and day every single time. Give yourself some grace at that point. So know that, your video 10, watch your video 10 versus your video 1 and see that progression. It's going to look night and day. And imagine what happens on video 100. Imagine what happens on video 1000, right? It's okay to start measuring yourself and seeing that way so you can continue to improve. And that way, that's how you ensure that you continue to improving as opposed to just stagnating. That's a really good way to not get things done. Now, common mistakes that agents make on camera. Over apologizing or disclaiming, hey, I'm new here, sorry. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm new. This is my first time. Listen. That does you no good. One, if you're doing actually great, and then you say, hey, this is my first time, it's not that they're going to be even more impressed with you. Now you just gave away the ghost. Now you just gave away the ending, right? So there's no, I don't want to say there's no honor in that, but there's not much that you gain from that. Now, if you go to the other side of the equation and you're actually doing terrible, well, guess what? They know that you're new, so you don't have to tell them. So over apologizing or disclaiming at the end of the day doesn't do you much good. You think that it buys people into you and all that fun stuff, but it really doesn't. So you don't need to continue apologizing. You don't need to have all these disclaimers. Just do what you can and let it go. Keep it going. Over editing to hide yourself. Cuts and effects can't replace you. You're the reason they keep watching. If we try to hide behind all of the edits, all the fancy cuts and things like that, then the relatability of yours goes out the window. Quitting on video 3, listen, when it comes to video and when it comes to YouTube altogether, quitting on the 3rd video is not an option. That's a really good way that you're going to waste time, right? Because at that point you've set up your channel, you figured out how to record, you made a video, and then you've maybe done some editing on video 3, you're done. Guess what? You could have allocated that energy somewhere else. Quitting before you actually grow, quitting before you actually see results on YouTube is one of the best ways to fail on YouTube, because at that point you've guaranteed that there's no movement. And that's a huge travesty. Copying a polished big name. Here's the thing. We see creators out there that appear to be crushing it. We see creators out there that we actually like to model. And unfortunately, oftentimes, we go about that in the wrong way. We go about copying somebody, and that style just doesn't work for us. Right? So it works for them, but for us, maybe we have a different personality. Maybe we have different experience. Maybe we have different level of of style at the end of the day. So if we copy somebody else's style, guess what? Then we are performing. Then we are not being true to ourselves. Then we are not being natural. And that's what causes even more friction. You're presenting somebody that you're not. And guess what? A lot of people, not a lot, everybody sees right through that. So it's okay to model. It's okay to see what's working for others and maybe adjust it and see how it's going to work for you. But if you're looking to just copy what else somebody else is doing, one, it's going to be very tough, because at that point, it's like you're trying to run the same race that a Olympic 400 meter a runner is capable of running. Well, here's the thing. You didn't put in that training. You don't have that speed yet. You don't have that endurance. So how can we be expected to run at that pace whenever we just started? Same thing here. How can we be able to replicate a Casey Neistat video when we just started? Right? So this is something that it sounds obvious when you present some other analogies, like the whole racing analogy, but we do that here all the time, especially in real estate, even beyond video. We see that, oh, I see that person's crushing it. They're doing 5 transactions a week. Well, here's the thing. They've been in this business for X amount of time. They've invested this amount of money, invested this amount of energy, and we just got here. You see how that sounds a little bit silly? So I think we understand that. The only video that builds confidence is the one you actually published. If you're looking for the ending here, yeah, the only video that builds confidence is the one that you actually publish. Now, name that fear, talk to that person, name the fear, talk to one person, lower the stakes, bringing the energy, and then film 10 and watch the curve do the rest. Right, your learning curve is going to go. It's going to surprise you. At the end of the day, you're going to see, wow, what a difference from video 10 to video 1. What a difference from video 100 to video 10. It's that movement. It's that growth that just with anything in our real estate business, in our video, in the way that we operate with our family, manifests itself. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this helps you get on front of the camera a lot quicker and feel more comfortable so you can get more and more results. Because at the end of the day, we're in the results business. We don't get paid by the hour. We get paid by the result. Hopefully this was valuable. If you need anything from me, let me know. Outside of that, see you on the next video.